Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. And in this video, I wanted to read some precepts to uplift the brothers, because in his ministry, we have to understand that the predicament that we're currently in is the worst case scenario. Because as a nation, the real Hebrew Israelites, which are your so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, we have gone away from our power. Therefore, the curses are being put upon us. And so, when you come into this ministry, you realize and understand that. And then you're not supposed to really let that weigh you down, but rather, it's supposed to give you hope that there's going to be a good end to this hell that we're currently going through as a nation. And so the first precept I want to read here is Micah 2:10, and it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." And what inspired me to do this video too is because I was watching other brothers' videos, and they were speaking about how you really can't escape this hell. No matter where you go, you're always going to find something corrupt. And so that's why, here we pretty much prophesy in part. Or so I'll say it like this, we know in part, therefore we prophesy in part. And so when we go out there to the highways and hedges, we shine a light on these things. Like, we're the only ones who pretty much have the eye salve to see these things. And just because you have that eye salve doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. That's a good thing, because pretty much that you have that vision that things are going to get better. Because, we know Esau right now, he rules the earth in disarray, and he destroys the earth. But if you read the whole precepts, the whole Bible, which is the Comforter, you understand that he has an end to this madness. And, it has, like it says in Revelation, Yahweh Shai is going to destroy them, which destroyed the earth. And that's where we have our hope in. We have our hope in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and the prophecy is being fulfilled. Because no matter where you go, this place ain't our rest. Whether it be with food, or lifestyle, job, money-wise, or even with the women that you deal with in this world, there's always going to be something wrong with that. And that's okay, because, like I said, we understand the predicament, and we know that this ain't it. And we're seeking a kingdom to come. And one of the things, like when I go to work, I notice is this is always so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans are in a low estate. They're the ones begging. They're the ones on drugs. They're the ones who pretty much every nation around the world looks at and scoffs at, and they've become a byword and a reproach. And this is a precept here, is Ecclesiastes 10 verse 7. It says, "I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth." And we've done videos on how they had that statue of that President Theodore Roosevelt, and he had the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom pretty much in slavery, showing this precept in a visual format. But it's still taking place. Even though they took down that statue, you can still see that the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom, the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, they're still in that lowest state, and Esau is still ruling. And so when people, they come into that realization, they look for means to quiet that anger that they have inside them. But really, what they need to do is they need to go to the Comforter and get washed by this word, because it makes you understand the predicament that we're in, and then also the latter end of the predicament. That servant that's upon horses, he's going to be led into captivity for all the wickedness that he's done. We're actually going to render unto him double, because he's touched the apple of the Most High's eye. So when you come into this ministry, you get washed and cleansed with this word, and you pretty much have to endure and have that patience. And that word patience, it means to suffer, because we're waiting for the prophecies to manifest. That's why we know in part and prophesy in part. And so this is Matthew 6:33, because we're still in this scenario where we have to be debtors, or we'll pay to our debtors. We have to go to the heathen for the want of all things. The list goes on of how this hell ain't our rest. But when you come into this ministry, you get this Comforter. This becomes your rest. This is a labor that's worth everything. You pretty much could put everything away that's causing you hell, because ain't nothing in this world going to give you rest. But this here in this ministry is what's going to give you life evermore. It's going to revitalize you. And so this is Matthew 6:33. It says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof." So we seek the kingdom of heaven first, because we pretty much can see and visualize it. And, that's what prophets were in the ancient times. They were seers, because they could see the things that are going to come to place. And we could see this devil going down, which means that the nation of Israel, starting with the elect, are going to come up. We're going to receive those bodies with the heart of flesh, with the laws written on our inward part, so that we could never sin and will always be ruling on top. Like it says in Lamentations, pretty much Esau right now, this is his time of it's his time of rulership and our time of captivity. But then that's going to flip, and we're never going to have a time where we're going to go down as a nation. And that starts by seeking the kingdom first. If you seek the kingdom first, then all these things start to make sense. You pretty much get rest in this hell. If you realize, that we're seeking the kingdom of heaven, all this food is corrupt. You fall back on the precepts where it says that we're going to eat defiled bread, we're going to eat poison and yet live, and among many things. But if you seek the kingdom of heaven first, then Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will make that path bearable for you, and he's not going to put too much that you can't bear. Because ultimately he wants you to be a profitable servant. Going back to those parables about the talent. He's given you this talent, which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but he wants you to work with it. He's not just giving it to people who are putting it under a napkin. Because people can believe, but they're not going to have works. Therefore, show me people who have faith and works, because that's who's going to be saved. People who really see the kingdom and feel the kingdom. So this is James 5:10. It says, "Take, my brethren, the prophets who have spoken in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience." And that's what this thing is all about, is we're going to be suffering a whole bunch of things. Really, before you came across this truth, you weren't really suffering. But now when you come into this truth, you get that realization, and it hurts even more. The thing is, you got to have balance. You got to have understanding that the kingdom of heaven is nigh at hand, and that's what's going to keep us enduring on that straight and narrow path. But I'm gonna read it again. It says, "Take, my brethren, the prophets who have spoken in the name of the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. And so whatsoever brought upon you, take cheerfully, because all the men of the scriptures went through a trial and tribulation." And if you want to be of this ministry, you got to see yourself as a part of this ministry. You got to put on, therefore, the elect. You're not doing this just so that you can quit at the last day. We're going to be faithful unto death, because we know that Yahushai is going to give us a crown of life. And verse 11 says, "Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy." And that's where we have our hope in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and these prophecies, coming to fruition. And every time we see judgment on the news, or we see things that equate to prophecy in the scriptures, where if it's the MOTB or World War III, I could say this for the brothers also. We see a lot of happiness in that, because that's just more closer to this devil coming down and us as a nation rising back up. And this is Romans 12:12. It says, "Rejoice in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer." Because one thing you have to understand is there is a balance to these things. This is going to suck. Like how brothers say, we pretty much have to embrace the suck. We have to understand that these are the trials and tribulations, our afflictions. But if you're not praying, if you're not meditating on the kingdom, then you're not really fit for the battle. And that's why we rejoice in hope, because that's pretty much that's faith right there. And so, when we have that faith, that's as counted as to us as righteousness, just like how Abraham, our forefather. So as another precept is Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee." So really, we have nothing to fear. No matter how hellish it gets out here. If you get sick for a little bit, or your woman leaves you, the list goes on scenarios that could play out in this captivity. But we're not supposed to fear none of those things, because ultimately Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is with us. It says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy power, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee, yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." And that's why we knock that door, because we know that, pretty much like it says in Isaiah 55:6, we seek Yahweh Shai, because we understand that this place is almost through, it's out of the window. But the only way we can endure through it is through having fear in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, having that hope. All right, so this is Jeremiah 17:7. It says, "Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is." Because that's pretty much all we have our hope in. We're not building a place so that we could stay down here, because ultimately we know the latter end of this place. This is the lake of fire. This is the land of the valley shadow of death. So why would you invest in a place that the Lord has against? So that's why you're counted blessed if you see these things and you believe these things and you have hope and you pray. I'm gonna read it again. It says Jeremiah 17:7. It says, "Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is." And so we trust the Lord's plan, and we understand that the Lord's plan has us taking the L down here in this current captivity. But we're not going to fear none of these things, or think of them as strange. The scriptures pretty much lay it out how it's going to play out from point A to point B, point Z, I should say, Alpha and Omega. And so, like whenever you're brought to a lower state, take that. Be of a cheerful countenance. You pretty much got to praise Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai even when you stub your toe, because it's all part of the plan. And so, but the thing is, though, with balance, when you go through certain things, I don't know whatever thing that our brother is going through, but I know this, that brothers are going through things. Go back to the scriptures and read. And so this is Malachi 4. And I like to read this to give me a visualization of how it's going to be. Lord willing, me and the brothers that are in this ministry are of the elect and get delivered. Is that this is what we have our hope in. So this is Malachi 4, and I'll start at the top. It says, "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble." So all those people who scoff and mock at us, who are proudful in this world, who got all the riches, and make Jake jealous or whatever. All those proud people who aren't in this ministry, who aren't in Noah's Ark, because this is the spiritual Noah's Ark right now. And all those people pretty much who are not with us but rather against us. It says, "Yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch." So this is why we read, because this is the comforter. It makes a person of a cheerful countenance. And this is verse 2. It says, "But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings." And that's speaking about Yahweh Shai when he returns on that fathership, and he's going to deliver his hopeful elect, because he's going to find faith on the earth. You can see that, mostly here in Great Millstone, but any other brother out there on the outside who have faith and believe and who are subscribed to this doctrine, that's who Yahweh Shai is looking at. That's who Yahweh Shai is vouching for when the prayers are sent up to him. It says, "And ye shall tread down." This is verse 2 again. It says, "But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall." Because our nation needs healing, and that's who Yahweh Shai came to, is to those people who are needing a physician, who needed health, who needed life. And this verse 3 says, "And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts." So there's going to be a revenge, a punishment for the wicked, for all the proud, and all that do wickedly. They're going to be stubble. And verse 4 says, "Remember ye the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord." And so when you read this, you got to understand the time frame, because the prophet Elijah came back into reincarnation as John the Baptist, and he fulfilled this role, time and time again. Coming into recent times, he was Abba Bivens, and that so like he pretty much heralded Yahushai's return. And you have to understand pretty much the time frame of these things. You pretty much got to believe. It says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." All right, so that's the end of this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rachakodash. Shalom Akim.